For 16 years, an invisible terror stalked New York City. Bombs appeared in public places without warning, sparkling fear and chaos. The man behind it all was George Metesky, a quiet, unassuming figure whose explosive vendetta turned him into one of the most notorious criminals of his time. This is the story of the Mad Bomber. In November 1940, a bomb was discovered at a Consolidated Edison power plant in New York City. Though the device failed to detonate, it came with a cryptic note: "Con Edison crooks, this is for you." The man responsible was George Metesky, a former Consolidated Edison employee with a grudge. After suffering injuries in a workplace accident, Metesky was denied compensation, leaving him embittered and vowing revenge. His rage simmered quietly until he began constructing homemade bombs in his small Waterbury, Connecticut home. Over the next 16 years, Metesky planted at least 33 bombs across New York City. Targets included phone booths, theaters, bus terminals, and even Grand Central Station. His bombs were small but powerful, often concealed in everyday objects like pipe fillings and lunchboxes. Though many devices failed to detonate, those that did caused injuries and widespread of panic. The randomness of the attacks made them even more terrifying. Anyone at any time could become a victim. For years, the NYPD and the FBI were esteemed in their attempts to catch the Mad Bomber. Metesky left few clues, and his bombs were crafted with meticulous care. Adding to the frustration was his habit of taunting the authorities through letters to newspapers, where he raged against Consolidated Edison and vowed to continue his campaign. His notes, often signed FP, later revealed to mean fair play, were chilling yet oddly polite. In one letter, he assured that he would never harm women unless they were employed by Consolidated Edison. Despite his promises, fear gripped the city as each new bomb brought more destruction. In 1956, the case took a groundbreaking turn when the police enlisted the help of Psychiatrist Dr. James Brussel. Analyzing Metesky's letter, Brussel created what is now considered one of the first criminal profiles. He predicted that the bomber would be a middle-aged man of Eastern European descent, unmarried, living with female relatives, and wearing a double-breasted suit. Brussels' insight proved eerily accurate when investigators traced the phrase "Con Edison crooks" to a 1931 complaint file. They identified George Metesky as the prime suspect. On January 21, 1957, police arrived at Metesky's modest Connecticut home. He greeted them calmly, even admitting to his crimes with a peculiar air of pride. True to Dr. Brussels' profile, he was wearing a double-breasted suit when arrested. Metesky's trial revealed a man consumed by rage, but also deeply delusional. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and deemed unfit to stand trial. Instead, he was committed to a psychiatric hospital where he remained for 16 years before his release in 1973. George Metesky's campaign of terror may have ended, but his case left a lasting impact on law enforcement, making the birth of modern criminal profiling. The Mad Bomber remains a haunting figure in the history of New York City, a reminder of how personal vendettas can spiral terror for an entire city. For over a decade, George Metesky turned fear into a weapon, striking in the places people felt safest. The Mad Bomber reminds us that sometimes the greatest threat isn't the unknown, but the grudge festering in plain sight.